All right, so I'm just hanging out with some of my friends and we're doing some front end stuff, and I was going to show them front end things, so I decided to record this. But you want to zero out your HTML, some of your HTML settings. So I'm just going to do my HTML tag, my body tag, and then we'll do the H1 tag. And oh, did we change? Let me do one thing here. Just put this into 08 so that we could kind of leave all that working the way it is. And I don't know if we needed that 08, but we'll take this out. Now that's all working. And if you want to find this code, you can find this code online at github.com/goes to 11. And then inside there, go into the Golang web dev and 00 temp. And then, oh, I got to push it. Control C, git add dash all, git commit dash m. You're doing great. And git push. And my friends are here at Disney. This is where I'm hanging out right now. All right, so you'll be able to find all that here at 50 Disney, and then this is 08, it's the one we're working on. Okay, so the CSS. Zero out that. I'm going to do, so in CSS everything is content and it's a box model. Everything's a box in CSS, and either stack those boxes vertically down the page or things are stacked inline one after the other. And each box is going to have content, and then there's padding around it, and then a border, so you can adjust the space between the content and the border with the padding. So content, padding, border, and then margin, which is the space between the items. So I'm going to do padding, put that to 0, and then border, put that to 0, and then margin, put that to 0, and then there's this thing called box sizing, border box, which means that as I increase the size of my padding and my border, I don't want the size of my element to grow. Instead, I want to squish in the content in the center. So if I set the size of an element explicitly, I want it to stay that size so it doesn't throw my design off. If I change the border size or margin, instead it just squishes how much is available for the content. So there's that, and then for my body is going to be holding what I want to show, and this is like my favorite thing, which I write currently, which I wanted to share with you. And we'll get rid of the, I guess we'll leave the image in there, but we'll change it in a second. So on the body, what I want to do is hello from Disney, I guess maybe be cool, and we're going to take out that image, and then hello from Disney. We want to put it in the center of the page, right in the center of the page in big text. And so to do that, the best way to do layout today is this thing called Flexbox. And so display flex means that I've just made body a flex container, and then each of the immediate direct elements, immediate direct children inside body are going to be flex children. And so I could apply settings to those children to get them to do certain things. And so the only immediate direct child of body right now is H1. And so what I want to do is, when you have Flexbox, there is a direction. And so you could do flex direction, and it's going to be row. And so row is the default, and you could also do flex direction and flex wrap. And flex wrap by default is no wrap. And alternatively, you could just do flex, flex wrap, flex flow. You could do flex flow, and it's row no wrap, right? Row no wrap. So that's a shorthand technique. This line right there is the same as these two lines right there, but I like to be explicit. Just flex directions row, flex wraps no wrap, and then you have justify content. And justify content is always going to operate on the flex direction. So if my flex direction is row, then justify content will center on the row. If my flex direction was column, then justify content is going to center vertically along the column. But since it's row, it centers along the row, and then align items will operate on the cross axes. So when flex direction is row, align items will align things vertically. You know, because that's the cross axes, because this is the primary axis row, so the cross axes are vertical. Line items works on the cross axes. Just kind of interesting. And then one more thing I want to do here is I want to make the height of my body. I want to make it 100 viewport height, And so your viewport height or your viewport width, you've got 100, no matter the size of the viewport. And so if I say my height's 100 viewport width, then the body is always going to fill up that entire amount. A better way to do this would be like maybe main, and because that way I could add things down below. And then I'm going to just change this to operate on main. And now main is always going to be, that's going to be what I call the above the fold content. So no matter the size of the screen that this is shown on, what shows on the main page above the fold, in printing they used to call this because it'd be like when they'd fold the paper, this is what's showing above the fold. That's always going to be showing on the home page. So that's pretty cool. And so the height is 100 VH, and we're saying that in this center whatever child I have, display flex, and center it right into the middle. So now if we run this, and we are in 08, put Disney right in the middle. That's cool. And so now I want to change the size of Disney, so font size, and I'll make that, I don't know, 5 rem. Cool, I like that size. And now we need to get an image. And images, and let's go to settings, tools, usage right, label for reuse, and size large. And I don't know, that Neuschwanstein, that's not very large. Is that large? Oh yeah, that's large. View image. That's huge. Now we save the image, and we're going to save it into, I guess I'll just take it to my desktop. Neuschwanstein. Show in Finder. Copy it, come back to here, come back to here, put it into images, and get rid of that. Don't need that one anymore. And then so for main, I also want background dash, and then you see all the choices for background. And I have attach, size, repeat, image. So I'm going to do background image and URL. And then I put in the URL to that, and the URL for that is going to be assets / image / new dot, I don't know what it was, JPEG, NEU JPEG. And I'll just scroll this over a little bit so we can see a little bit more of those things. And then background dash size is going to be cover the whole background, and background dash size image attach will be fixed, and background dash size image repeat will be no repeat, and background dash size image position we'll do center, and background, it's kind of like, let's see what the choices are and then choose from them. Clip, origin, position, I think that's plenty. I think we've got it. So I'll hit escape and get rid of that one. And let's see what happens. And these don't find it in, this is my editor throwing an error, but I know how the server's working, you know. So I still haven't found an elegant solution for, being able to design in my editor and then have that aligned with how my server that I wrote is working. But this is easy enough for me. Some people complain about this, and I'm like, really? There's people in the world that don't have potable drinking water. Oh, didn't do it. Let me see what I messed up. Assets, image, new, JPEG, assets. Look at how I was serving that image in the previous one. That was working. Assets, image, Toby, JPEG. Assets, image, NEU, JPEG. Am I in 08 when I ran that? I'm in 08. No, I'm right here, 08. I just... Right there, 08. Yeah. CSS index.css. We have index.css. Let's try a color on that. See if H1, if we're even picking up the color. Okay, so we've got the color.
Can you do the background inside of it? Main, or does it need to be part of the body?
Yeah, I want it in main because I want that to be the background of this. Can't resolve directory assets. Assets empty. Oh, okay. So my CSS is asking for it, and for my CSS, from my CSS file, it's up and then down. And so I think I need a / to make it absolute. So always look for this from my root. And so let's try that. Oh, wow, like for a minute. Oh, there it is. Cool. And let's change that color because that looks horrible. And we want it to look nice. And so we'll make that white. White smoke a little off.
So since you're just changing the CSS, you don't have to reload the web server. You shouldn't have to.
Oh, really? That's a good thought. Unless it all got parsed at runtime. Let's try that. Let's try that. Oh, so I'm not going to start. I changed it to blue. Oh, you're right. That's awesome. So I'm having color issues, but I'm not the best designer. The other people my former students were like totally tore me apart for what I did with our Twitter account design recently. They were like, "Are you kidding me?" And then the cool thing about this is I'll just add in this one little last bit here, and I could do a UL li times 100 or 200, make it a lot, and then just put some content in that, $$, and that content actually has to be on the other side. So li's with some auto numbering, and so it added all those auto numberings in, and then refresh this. You'll see a scroll bar pop up on the right, because now beneath that is all that other content, but no matter the size of my window, right, that is always what's the top. And you could get the text to change size by doing the text like this, which is cool. And the text could be, font size could be like 70 VW, which I think is the coolest acronym short thing in the world because it also means Volkswagen, but it's viewport width. And then run that one and allow that. Oh, that's too big. So we'll do like 5 and see what that looks like. That's right. So now as I change the size, the text changes too. Scales down. I always have this. Pretty neat, huh? That's it.